What's good everyone, it's Fizzy here, back again with another video. So I previously made a video called how to make Afrobeat drums. So in today's video, I'm going to be updating it and showing you guys how to make Afrobeat drums. So when it comes to making Afrobeat drums, the first things first, the most important thing is sound selection. When it comes to making your drums, sound selection is very, very important. So what I would recommend is using websites like Splice, going to Producer Grind, going to watching your favorite YouTubes. For example, I have 7th Beats, drum kits and everything. So go check out your favorite producer, YouTubers, kits, if that makes sense to you, and go to their website and see what kits they have. 9 out of 10 times when they're making their beats, they're going to be using sounds from their packs, and when it comes to making their packs and making good YouTube videos, they always want to use the highest quality sounds. So make sure to go check those out. And the reason why I recommend Splice is because Splice has so many sounds. You know, if you want to make an R&B sound, if you want to make a hip-hop sound, you want to make an Afrobeat sound, you want log drums, shaker loops, everything that you want is always on Splice. So I'd highly recommend to go check out Splice, and they're a subscription-based package. So after making your drums or after picking your sounds and everything, what I would then recommend next is to go mess around with this main swing knob. Let me show you an example. So I found this rim shot off Splice, and the pattern I'm using is from one of my MIDI kits. So this is the pattern it sounds like. So without any swing, this is what the pattern sounds like. So there's a bit of rhythm, but if I was to now increase the swing, this is what it's gonna sound like. So with the swing now, there's actually now a bit more rhythm. You now feel like moving. And the thing that swing does is that instead of having everything playing at the beat, it now starts to swing things maybe a bit to the left, a bit to the right. And it just does that randomly depending on the notes and everything. But yeah, I would highly recommend when it comes to making Afrobeat drums, you need to increase your swing. Because when it comes to making Afrobeats is about rhythm. It's about the groove and the vibe of the beat. If everything sounds robotic, no one wants to listen to your beat, or no one wants to use your beats. And if you have a bit of rhythm in your Afrobeats, people will listen to it and it'll be more enjoyable. So I would highly recommend always increase your swing. Another thing I would also say is that when you click on the note, so in FL Studio, if you go to this page here by clicking on the sound and then looking at this, if you go to this wrench here, and then you also then now go to shift, it now starts to offset everything. So if I now increase the shift, this is what it'll sound like now. So this sounds a bit more rhythmic and everything than having without the swing and the shift on. But when it comes to Afrobeat patterns, when it comes to the rim shots and everything, is very simple. So I'm going to show you the top Afrobeat patterns in my opinion. So the first pattern I'm going to show you is this pattern here. So you're going to place the first note on the 1. So I'm setting the form of a quarter beat. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's always a quarter. There's 4 quarters in one beat. So as you can see here, I'm placing 1 on the first note, which is the 1 quarter, and I'm also placing a note on the 4 quarter beat. And then this is what the beginning sounds like. Then next, I'm then gonna place a note on the 2.5 beat. So this is what is I'm just gonna place a note here. Then I then duplicate this over, and then I then get this pattern. And then with a kick, this is what it sounds like. So with the kick, that's what it sounds like. So that's one pattern that you can get when it comes to making Afrobeat rim shot patterns. The first pattern I showed you is more or less the building blocks for almost every single Afrobeat pattern. So once you have that down, you can then start to mess around and then start to add in your own little filler notes. So another pattern that I like to use is this pattern here. It's very similar to the first one. At the end of the first bar, I then add in another note just at the 4 quarter notes here. So this is what it sounds like. So that's what it sounds like. And for me, it just again adds a bit more rhythm and more vibes to the beat. And then this rim shot here is the third pattern that I like to use. So with this pattern here, I'm placing a note on the first beat, and I'm placing a note on the 4 quarters of the first beat, and then I'm then gonna place one on the 4th beat. So this is what it sounds like. And this one is mainly using like chill vibes, or if you want to have a bit less of rim, this is normally used for like chill vibe type of beats, so maybe like 105 BPM, or if it's in a fast paced type of BPM like 115, it's actually used so that there's more space for other percussion elements. So this is a very simple one. Again, it's just a variation of the very first one that I showed you. So this one again is another variation of the first one. So I'm placing a note on the 4 quarters of the first beat, the 2 quarters of the second beat, and then the 2/4 of the 3rd beat, and then placing one on the 4th beat. So this is what it sounds like. And again, this is just a variation of the very first one. And this one is just, again, for more rhythm and everything. So placing it on the 1st beat so placing it on the 4th first beat, if that makes sense to you. Placing it on the 4th beat, again, just adds a bit more rhythm and everything. This pattern here is a variation of the first pattern I showed you. The beginning of this pattern is very similar to that of the first one, but then as you can see here, I didn't have one on the 4/4 notes and then on the half note. So just getting rid of this one here. And this just, again, adds a bit more rhythm or a bit more space for other percussions to come in. So this one here is, again, a very similar variation of the first one. So it's very similar to that of the very first pattern I showed you, but instead of having the ones playing, so this is what it sounds like. Those are the patterns that I personally would like to use when it comes to making my Afro beats. But again, there's no guidelines to any of this. You can actually now start to spice things up. So let me show you. So this pattern, I literally just made this pattern on the spot. So it's just a variation of the very first pattern I showed you. So as you can see, I just added in a bit more filler notes. And again, this sounds really nice. So if I now add in the kick, this is what it sounds like. So as you can see, it now starts to add in the groove. So once you add in the kick, the shakers and everything, the groove and the rhythms now starts to come in. So if you guys want to use these patterns, I'm going to put the link down below to my MIDI kit. And in this MIDI kit, I have melodies, rim shots, kick patterns, all other types of patterns. But yeah, I'm going to put the link to that down below. But yeah, that's it from me, everyone. Comment down below what other Afrobeat patterns that you like as well. And yeah, peace, everyone.